doing, Andrew?
Good.
Good. So today, kids, we are talking about Joshua! And the Battle of Jericho. So, we have some blocks here. We're going to use some blocks throughout our video today. So if you have some at home and you want to grab some, you can pause the video and go get them, or even Legos would work. Really anything that you can stack. So, Andrew, I love this tower you made. Thank you. Or this city that you built, I should say. So today we are talking.
It is a tower.
Well, it is a tower. You are right. So today we are talking about Joshua. Are you ready, kids?
Joshua.
To sing some songs. We have one we've been singing and a new one, and then we'll do a Bible story and a craft. Okay, let's go.
Clap your hands and wave your arms. Play the drums and then rock the guitar. So clap your hands and wave your arms. You can play the drums and then rock the guitar. Sing Hosanna, 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 Hosanna. Everybody praise Him. Everybody praise Him. Everybody praise Him. Everybody praise Him. So clap your hands and wave your arms. Play the drums and then rock the guitar. Oh, clap your hands and wave your arms. You can play the drums and then rock the guitar. Sing Hosanna, 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 Hosanna.
Hey kids, we're going to do Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, so feel free to dance along with it. You can follow me with some moves, and in the middle of the song there's a dance break, so have some fun.
Your men are swole. Life has been like good old Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. Hey, Joshua, the Battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. I said, Joshua, the Battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Right up to the walls of Jericho, they marched it spear in hand. Go blow them ram's horns, Joshua cried, as the battle is in my hand. Hey, Joshua, the Battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua, the Battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down.
Okay, dance break.
Oh, what's this? What do I do?
Goodbye.
Let's get up. Let's do it together.
Jericho and the walls came tumbling down.
Down.
Talk battle of Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. And the walls came tumbling down. Woo! Good job, kids! Right, kids, we are going to do a little object lesson today. So with Joshua, this comes after, so maybe you've heard before the story of Moses and how he led people out of Egypt, and they were going to this beautiful new land in Jericho, the promised land. But the people kind of did not trust God at first when people came back to tell them about the land. They grumbled and complained, so God said, you're going to spend 40 more years in the desert. So now it was their time to take over the city, and they had a leader named Joshua. And God had a very interesting plan of how to take, so you saw my building in the beginning. They had this really big city, Jericho, with walls, and God was going to destroy the city using his people. But it was kind of an interesting plan, and Joshua had to trust God, which kind of like happens with us, right, Andrew? Sometimes God tells us to do something, or he says, I'll take care of you, but sometimes it's a little interesting the way that he does that, but we have to trust God. So, if you have your blocks with you, you can pause the video, or you can watch this part and then pause the video and do it with your family and friends, or you can do it with me. So, Andrew, I am going to have Andrew close his eyes, and I'm going to tell him to build a city, but I'm going to help him, or build a wall, and I'm going to help him. So, Andrew, can you close your eyes, please? Okay. Can you take this block, keep your eyes closed, and put it on the table? I'll move the table closer to you. Okay. Keep your eyes closed. Here's another one. Can you put it next to your other one? Oh, very good. Keep them. Oh, he's doing well. Here's another one. You can put the block next to your other block. Oh, there you go. Here's this. Keep them. Oh, you're looking, but keep them closed. No looking. Okay. Now, Andrew, I'm handing you a tall rectangle. Can you put that? Very good. On there. Keep them closed. Here's another rectangle.
I can't keep them
Yep,
closed
I'll
for a
help you.
long time.
You're doing great. Okay. Here, you can open them. Okay, now close them again. Okay, can't see. Here's another one. I will help you. Oh, keep them closed. Very good. And now let's do one more tall rectangle. Keep them closed. Very good. And now let's do one more.
It's not
Oh.
It's not a
Keep them
rectangle.
closed. It's like a
bridge.
bridge. Let's put the bridge up top. Keep them closed. I will help you put that down. Okay.
Can I open
You can open your eyes now. Good job. Look at your beautiful building.
Well, we
It's
still have
not-
more blocks.
Well, that's okay. High five. How did you do, kids, if you did this? Or if you want to do it now, go ahead and pause it. So, sometimes when we trust
should
God,
build it a little more taller.
you can build it taller while I talk. Sometimes, I think when we need to trust God, we kind of feel like our eyes are closed. I had a plan of how I wanted the building to be built, and God has a plan for your life, but sometimes it almost seems like our eyes are closed and we're just kind of listening to his voice. So that's what it's like, I think, when the story of Joshua. God had a plan, and he had to listen to him, even though the plan seemed kind of different as we'll read today in our story. But it's important to trust God, even when it feels like our eyes are closed as we're following Him. Okay, so Andrew, we are going to read our story. Are you ready?
Well, I'm gonna keep building.
Okay. Well, you know what? That could be a little distracting as we are reading the story. So let's put our blocks to the side now, and then you can play with them after. Okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
It's off.
Oh, it's okay? Okay.
How will you be able to do the video when it's off?
Well, it's still on. The screen just went away. Okay, it's called The Warrior Leader. Look at that. What do you think, Andrew?
The bird fell.
Okay. After Moses died, okay, kids, let's open our eyes. Put on our listening ears, Andrew. Very good. After Moses died, God gave His people a new leader. His name was, what was his name?
Yeah.
Joshua, which means the Lord saves. Joshua is going to lead God's people into the special land God had promised to give them. By this time, God's people had been wandering around in a baking desert. So remember these hot summer days? They have been like that, but even hotter days like that every day for 40 years. Now that is a long time. So you can't imagine how sick they were of sand and anything yellow and tense and walking and being hot. And how happy they were to reach the edge of the desert and see their beautiful new home right there in front of them, all cool and green and lovely. There was only one problem: Jericho. Jericho was a city, but it wasn't just any old city. It was a fortress, and it stopped anyone from getting into the land. The people looked at Jericho, a big, giant, scary walls around it, and the tall, towering ramparts, and the heavy iron gates bolted shut at each other. Yes, look at that. So you can see there's some pretty trees around Jericho, but then look at the city. That is pretty big and pretty scary. So that was the only thing in between them and their new home. Oh my goodness. Okay. What would they do? No one knew, but God knew. And God told Joshua what to do. But Joshua must have looked surprised because it was a very odd battle plan indeed, as we'll find out soon. Then God made His people a promise: I will always be with you, and I will never ever leave you. If you do what I say, your lives in the new land will be happy, and everything will go well. So Joshua gathered his army together. Let's gather our army, Andrew. Can you gather our army? He gathered his army together. They had their swords and spears and shields. They were ready to fight. But the plan wasn't about fighting. It was about trusting and doing what God said. Joshua's army went marching, 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 like we did in our song. Marching, marching, marching around the city, day after day after day. So they just marched around the city every day. They just marched and marched and marched and marched.
That's so fun.
They're too scared to fight, the people in Jericho said. So this was the plan that God told Joshua. He said, just go march around the city. That's something, huh? Well, that's a very interesting battle plan. But remember, you have to trust God. Okay, Andrew, here we go.
Hey, that looks like a cool city.
It does, but they were wrong. God's people weren't scared. They were waiting for God to tell them what to do next. On the seventh day, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the seventh day, God told His people to march around the city not once, but 7 times. Then God told everyone to make as much noise as they could. Has anyone ever told you to make as much noise as you possibly can? Well, imagine that noise and then add 39,999 other people making that noise too. And you get the idea. Very loud, ear-splitting. Pause.
How about 112?
Well, that's a lot of people. That's even so many people were making noise. It was so loud. It was ear-splitting. And as it turned out, stone splitting too, because the huge, strong walls of Jericho just crumbled to the ground as if they were made of sand. Jericho vanished in a great cloud of dust.
There was a lot of.
There's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people making
It is. There's so many people. There was 39,999,000 people. And so many people. And Jericho just fell to the ground. They didn't even fight. They just walked around and listened to what God said. And they just had to yell. And the walls came down. So it was that God's people entered their new home. And they didn't have to fight to get in. They only had to walk. Joshua said, God has brought you safely here. Now you will go do as he says. Everyone said, we promise.
That's a cartwheel.
You're right. Only God can make your heart happy, Joshua said. So don't pray to pretend gods. No, they said, never. I'm afraid that they didn't keep their promise. So they promised to not pray to other gods. They promised to listen to what God says, but they did not keep the promise. They didn't do what God said, and many years later, just as God warned them, things would go badly for God's people. They would lose their home, enemies would capture them and take them off as slaves, and God's people would scatter into many different lands. But God's plan was still working. One day he would give his people another leader and another home. But this home, no one could ever take from them. And who is that new leader that God brings to the world?
Joshua.
Well, he brought Joshua for a story, but many years later, who does God bring? It starts with another J.
Jericho.
Jericho, that's the city. He brings Jesus! So, kids, just like with Andrew, he had his eyes closed, but I held his hand and helped him. I said, I'm right here. And that's what God does. Even when it feels like we're walking and our eyes are closed and we're feeling, he's always right there. When he has a plan, you can see the big picture. Even though the plan sometimes might seem a little silly, kind of like just walking around Jericho and just yelling, but they didn't even have to fight. That was amazing. So, kids, what a cool story. Hi, Andrew.
Yep.
Okay, kids, so today we are going to make little horns like we did in our song. You know, we were playing the horn. In the song it said there was the ram horn. So a ram horn is kind of like a long, it looks like a J, and you would blow out of it, and a ram is an animal. So they would have the big horns, and you would take that and they would blow them back in the day. So we're kind of going to make our own horn. So you can go around and maybe you can sing your song if you'd like with it. So what you'll need is a piece of paper. So I have two here, one for Andrew and I, 8.5 by 11, so a standard paper would work. If you had cardboard paper, that might be a little sturdier, or cardstock, not cardboard paper.
Or you can make one for Ava.
I can make one for your sister as well. So why don't you grab your paper if you would like, or you can do it later. But then I have, Andrew has a popsicle stick here. If you want to, instead of holding it with your hand, you can hold it with a popsicle stick, or sticks would work as well. So paper, coloring utensils, tape or glue, so you can glue it together, or tape it together and put your stick or popsicle stick on there. So Andrew, here you go. Here's your piece of paper. So why don't you take a few minutes to color it? I love hearts, so we're going to do some hearts. On there, we're going to decorate our horn. It's not quite a ram's horn because we do not have rams, but if you have one at your house, then, hey, you could do that.
We should get some rams.
But I think you'd have to probably clean it first by, boiling in water, maybe? He's coloring his popsicle stick right now. So that, I'm going to put little stars on it. Oh, yeah. This
is going to look good, Mom.
Gonna look awesome.
Look at it.
Awesome, awesome. Can I use the pink, Andrew? Is that okay? Thank you. Or did you need it to finish?
I need it to
Okay,
finish,
you can use it. Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Nice sharing there. So I'm going to write on mine that Jesus, I have a heart, so loves me. There you go, buddy.
Thanks.
So So he's still working on his popsicle stick there. So once you've decorated your sheet of paper, you want it the longer way. So like here, like that. And you want the design to be on the outside. So once it's done, you can, oh, the wind is picking up. You can flip it over and you roll, so you can roll it. So you can do it a few different ways. You could roll it and just have it be like this, or you could do it in a way where the end is the hole at the end, so a little smaller, so to kind of make it almost, you know, have you been to like a place and you get popcorn or something, and you know, you can put popcorn in there, so it's kind of like that, like this. So I'm going to do mine like that, so it's like like that. Pretty fun, huh, Andrew? So then you can glue it, or I just have tape. So take some tape.
Now I'm going to color mine.
Great idea. So, wow, these are pretty cool. Look at that. And then, so you can have it, you can just use your hand like this. Or you can take your popsicle stick, or your, if you want, you could put your, somehow put, whoops, line up a little bit.
How do you make stars again?
Like this, so then you can,
How do you make stars?
it's not making stars. So why don't you work on yours, kids, for a second, coloring your paper. Is that good, buddy?
No.
Awesome. Can I have you sit on the side for 1 second, please? Thank you. So I'm going to take my tape to somehow put this on there, so then I don't always have to, I can keep it in a nice shape. The wind feels so nice. Put the tape on. This, and I have one more to go on the other side. So there we go. And then I don't have to, I can keep my horn shape. I can just go doo 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 Jericho, like that. And there is your battle horns. How's yours coming? Sure, I can help you.
Just roll it up.
You want to just roll? Andrew just wants his roll.
It's like...
There you go. There you go, just like that. So either way. Okay, kids, our verse today comes from Joshua 1:9. It says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Joshua 1:9. Okay, kids, I hope you have fun. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for joining us as we built a tower or a city and our horns to blow like Joshua did when the city fell down. I thank you for joining us. It was so much fun. I hope you can do this activity later, and then maybe, looks like my daughter got some paper here. Yeah, you can do the activity later and make your musical instrument your horn. Okay, kids, let's say a word of prayer. So let's close our eyes and fold our hands. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for loving us, and I thank you that we can trust you, even though sometimes it feels like we're walking with our eyes closed. well. We trust your plan. We thank you that you know the big picture. We love you, Lord, and we thank you for this great day. I pray you be with the kids and the rest of their day as whatever they do. We love you, Lord. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Annabelle, can you say bye? Say bye.